We're going to keep things moving here on the program, and we're going to say hello to 1/5 of the Judgment Day, but 1/2 of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion. This gentleman, a one-time NXT North American champion and a one-time United States champion as well. He's going to be in Raleigh, right here in Raleigh on Monday with WWE Raw. He is Damian Priest, and he joins us here on the program. What's going on, Damien?
It's happening, my man.
It's all good. Look, do you think R-Truth finally got the message? Like he got some licks in on you, right, on Monday, but you put a whooping on him.
I mean, it's one of those situations that, like, I liked R-Truth, but I felt like we needed to get back to Judgment Day business, and I had to unfortunately do what I had to do, but he just didn't get the message. But I'm pretty sure he got it now. And yeah, he got some licks in because, he's R-Truth. He's a WWE superstar. I think people forget that too. He's funny, but let's not forget that he's had success here in the business. So he's been around. He's got experience.
He
unfortunately came up against me. And then, and I had to, remind them, and remind the world, you guys, I'm Damian Priest,
Well, I get that, Damien, but he made you some money along the way. Is that how you do people that make you money, though?
It's relax with the money situation. It was he sold a few T-shirts. It wasn't that serious. We do well on our own.
No, you guys do. You do. You do well on your own. No doubt about that. So now on Monday Night Raw, as a matter of fact, so you're going to be in a 6-pack ladder match for the champion for your tag team titles, you and Ben Balor, at Wrestlemania. How excited are you, or how much are you looking forward to that?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. I mean, we got to face 5 other teams in a ladder match. Talk about having the odds stacked against you. The only thing good about this that I keep thinking about is how many people I get to hurt with a lot of different furniture. You know what I mean? There's a lot of situations for me to have some fun with, but aside from that, I think it's definitely unfair. It's like we're being punished because we're too good. And this is the only way to at least hope to get championships on somebody else. And even still, it's not going to happen when it's the Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. You got the Prince Finn Balor, whose resume speaks for itself. We don't care who the opponents are. We're coming in and we're going to just hurt everyone.
Wow. What's your favorite kind of match, over your career? You've been doing this a good little while. You've had what I would consider, especially in the last, I don't know, three years, a meteoric rise. But what's your favorite type of match?
I guess for me, and I have a pretty good record with them, it would be street fights. Aside from one specific one, I've done pretty well in them. And just the idea of being able to do whatever I want, with no consequences, sounds pretty good to me. So I would say a good street fight is always a good go-to for me.
That is the voice of Damian Priest, and I'd be remiss if I did not call him Senor Money in the Bank. We talk about all the other things in terms of the Judgment Day, which is big time. He's a tag team champion, but he's also Senor Money in the Bank. He joins us here on the program. Speaking of that Money in the Bank, that's the thing. I sort of forgot about it a little bit. Any plans for that upcoming?
I can't tell you. But of course there's a plan, and everybody knows the plan. It's just a matter of when. I have till July. So I'm not necessarily in a rush. I'm still going to wait for the right time, right moment, and right champion. So it's a lot of people, like you said, I almost forgot about that. Yeah, and you're going to be reminded big time when I do cash in and successfully. So it'll remind everyone in the moment and shut a lot of people up.
All right, fair enough. So, I guess you're finally accepting of JD as part of the Judgment Day, right? I guess, right?
He earned it. He took his licks for us. He took a few shots for me specifically. He's proven himself, and man, that guy's a workhorse. Like he's you see him battle there every week. He puts in the work, and he's a good dude. So yeah, JD's good, but with me,
no doubt. So kind of take us through, kind of growing up. You were, I mean, I would assume you were a big wrestling fan as you were kind of coming up.
Yeah, no, I was raised in Puerto Rico initially, so in those early years, that's where I really fell in love with the business. And then when I moved back to New York with my father, I used to go to the Garden, Madison Square Garden, to every event that WWE would have, live events, pay-per-views, whichever event that we were holding there, I would go. And I was just, obsessed. I was one of those fans. I was obsessed with the business. I wanted to be, for me, it was like, I liked comics too growing up. So this was like live action superheroes and supervillains. And that's all I ever wanted to do. And so when I was old enough, and a buddy of mine, that we came up together, and he would say, we'd always dream about, talk about the dream. And one day he was just like, yeah, let's do it. And, went to a school, and I was like, wow, I'm doing this superhero, supervillain thing. And it's one of the coolest things. And I'm still very much a fan.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say you've got this great voice because you do. So you've got a, certainly a career after wrestling, right? But now, but I'm just saying, right? Like I read where, okay, like you said, you grew up, you were born in what was it, Bronx specifically?
From the Bronx, yeah.
Okay, from the Bronx, then moved to Puerto Rico, where you grew up for the first, but once you came back to New York, you didn't speak any English. So kind of talk about that, man, and just kind of having to kind of get back into it. And look, like I said, man, you got a life in the TV booth after your career in wrestling.
No, yeah. So, it was a good, easy transition. Going to the Bronx, you're basically in Puerto Rico Part 2. It's all Puerto Ricans that speak Spanish in the area, So it didn't really, it wasn't that difficult. But, and I picked up English pretty quickly. Even at home growing up, my mom would speak English. So I could understand it. I couldn't speak it very well at all. I couldn't read or write, so that all came, going to school. My father making me watch Wheel of Fortune to learn how to spell, like stuff like that. And I picked it up pretty quick, though. I think when it's always easier when you're younger to pick up another language or whatnot than it is when you're older. So it worked out for me pretty easily. But it was definitely odd. And then going from just Spanish to then just English, and then kind of almost forgetting your Spanish. And now I get to use it a lot more than since I can remember. So, because obviously the company gives us a platform, and I love representing my culture. So I do a lot of, stuff in our community where I have to speak Spanish, and it's come back a little bit. I don't speak it perfectly still like I used to, but it's come back somewhat.
No doubt about it. Couple of more thoughts with Senor Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, who joins us here on the program. Let me take it from right there. You talked about the diversity. That's what I want to get to in wrestling. You look at a lot of Latino wrestlers, LWO, the diversity in WWE. Look, I came up watching WWE. It was cool, but I don't think it's been ever as diverse as it is now. Can you kind of speak to that, and particularly as a Latino, where there's a lot of Latino representation in WWE?
I'm proud to be here at this era, where it's not about what you are and what you look like, where you come from. Are you a star? Can you do this? Let the best get the opportunity. And I love that mentality. It's not just handed to people just because we're all equal. And I love the fact that, like you said, the company is so diverse now. And I love the fact that minorities are just thriving in this company. I'm proud, because that was the one thing that I was always adamant about. It wasn't just for Puerto Ricans. For me, it's everybody should be proud of where they come from. Everybody should be proud to represent where they come from and show the world and educate, and that's the big thing. I think that is the more we educate people on our own backgrounds, the more people are aware and accepting. And I think that's always been that's been a case of a problem where we weren't educating enough. And I think now with You know, there's so many events all year round for every culture that we get to celebrate, and WWE accepts that. You know, WWE is very accepting to celebrate cultures and backgrounds and whatnot. And you see that with also us doing PLEs all over the world now, more often, which is also exciting. I love it, and I'm proud to be here.
Last two thoughts. What were you doing before wrestling?
I was working in clubs. Let's just, yeah.
Were you a bouncer?
I used to manage some clubs, and I used to bartend and do things like that. You know, whatever, you know, a lot of odd jobs and whatnot, and try to stay afloat. And then towards the end, I did bounce a lot. Obviously, that was the easy gig that I could get anywhere.
Sure.
You know, just basically trying to make money so I could eat a meal the next day. That was me for a long time, but you know, so up until I made it, it was a struggle, you know, and I made it really late. It took me a long time to get here, but I wouldn't change anything.
No doubt about it. You're a survivor. Last thought. What can we expect on Monday right here in Raleigh on Raw?
Well, for me, I love to expect to know who my opponents are at WrestleMania. And now that it's Mania season, you're going to have all the big stars, everybody coming out and showing out because we're getting ready for WrestleMania. So right now it's hot. And I know everything's sold out coming up, and it's exciting. It's adrenaline rush. It's everything you want out of an entertainment and physical show. We're coming. We're coming.
We're looking forward to it. One-time United States champion. Again, Senor Money in the Bank. He's part of the Judgment Day Undisputed WWE Tag Team Champs. Damian Priest joining us here on the program. Damien, we appreciate the time. We look forward to seeing you right here in Raleigh on Monday.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.